Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. Hope everyone is having a good Tuesday thus far here in the United States. A very important day. It is Election Day. Those who are local, very important to exercise your privilege, your civic duty to vote. In our area, we have important elections, and particularly those of our listeners in New York City proper, extremely important for you to go vote, as this is a crucial election for really the well-being of our entire community and the Jewish people. So please don't think someone else will do it. You have to do it yourself. And please continue davening for Charlei Tzvagan Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol B'tzvei Yisrael, the return of our hostages for Kfuras Yisrael, and learn each day Le'ilin Nishmat Seren Daniel Shimon ben Harav Dernon V'Sheli Shem Kim Damo. The next halacha we have is Hafsaka Mipnei Adam Mechubad. Gedei Limnoa Sina Ve'elbonos Hetiru Chachamim Lomar Shalom Be'emtza Keriat Shema B'Chasel Adam Shahanimus Mechayev Zos, so that we don't have any situations of disdain, embarrassment, even hatred. So Chazal allowed you to give a greeting during Keriat Shema and the brachos of Keriat Shema if manners dictate that this is required. Lefichach Hanimtza Be'emtza Birchas Keriat Shema Bo Be'emtza Echan Mipirkei Shema. So if you're in the middle of Keriat Shema or one of the chapters of the brachos of Keriat Shema, and you have someone, you see someone that you're required to fear, Kagon Aviv or Rabbo or Echem Megdoli Hagdor, so your father, your Rebbe, a Gadol Hador, Yaktim Lo Shalom, you can give Shalom, you could preempt and give Shalom. V'imra Adam Mechubad, if you see someone who is honorable, Kagon Talmid Chacham or Ashir or Baal Ma'al Acheres, someone who is a Torah scholar, a wealthy person, or someone who's just a good guy, Lo Yaschel L'Shalom B'Shalom, you shouldn't preempt and offer shalom. However, if they say hello to you, then you're allowed to respond in kind. If you're in between chapters, you finished one bracha and you haven't started yet the next one or the next paragraph, and you're, let's say, in between paragraphs as well, if there's no bracha, hadin kal yoser, the law is a little bit easier, meaning, and therefore you could even preempt and offer shalom to just an honorable person. And to answer, if you're in between brachim, if anyone asks you, then you're allowed to return the greeting. If you're in the middle of the pasuk of Keriat Shema, Shema Yisrael or Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusol Olam Va'ed, you should not interrupt unless we're talking about something that is a life-threatening situation. However, practically speaking, our poskim wrote, everybody knows you're not supposed to interrupt in the middle of davening. People who are honorable, especially Torah scholars, Talmidei Chachamim, Rebbeim, they're not going to be insulted if you don't say hello to them first. And therefore, in actuality, one is not required. You shouldn't preempt and give shalom because the person is not expecting you to, because they know that you're in the middle of davening. This is passed by the Mishnah Berurah and others. We're only discussing, let's say, someone who doesn't understand that you can't talk in the middle of davening, or doesn't understand the value of davening. And if you don't say hello, he's going to get insulted. He'll be hurt. So in that instance, mutar lomo lo shalom kafi adin hamakari, then we could follow the base law, and then you're allowed to preempt and offer greetings. V'chein bal teshuva shehorav eino mevinim es erech tfilaso. Very practical application. Someone who is a choser b'tshuva, someone who is newly observant, let's say, and his parents don't understand the davening mechanisms, the ins and outs, the values of it. So then Rishoy Lomer Lehem Shalom. He says he's allowed to offer greetings and say hello, but you shouldn't have more conversation than that. A person is allowed to interrupt with speech in the middle of Keriat Shema and the brachos if it means you have to prevent harm or monetary loss. If it's possible to finish the chapter or at least finish the bracha, that's obviously going to be preferable. Let's say you're the rabbi of the shul. Hard for me to identify with this. I'm just kidding, of course, because I'm a rabbi of a shul. That let's say someone comes and asks you a very important question that can't wait. So Rishoy lahashav aleh bein haprakim v'habrachos, then you're allowed to answer the question in between chapters or in between blessings. Hakore Keriat Shema u'berachas sev v'arva lefanav Talmid Chacham. If you're reading Keriat Shema or the brachas of Keriat Shema and the Talmid Chacham passes by, ya'amod lefanav, you should stand in front of him. Aval be'ez kabbalas ol malchus shemayim bepasuk Shema u'baruch ein lakam. However, if you're in the middle of Shema u'baruch Shem, you shouldn't rise. V'yesh mi she'omer shebechol meshech Keriat Shema others lo lamod, and it brings a tshuva from Rabbi Waldenberg with Tzitz Eliezer that through the duration of all of Keriat Shema, it's better not to stand. Haro es chavero she'os iser. If you see your friend who is doing something he's not supposed to be doing, violating a commandment in the Torah, yirmos lo kedei lahafrisha ma'isur, you can hint to him so that he'll stop doing something wrong. If him eino nirmaz yafsik b'dibur kedei lahafrisha ma'isur, and if he doesn't get your hint, he doesn't see you, then you could speak and try to prevent him from doing something wrong. Shem hetiru lahafsik l'chvod basar v'dam be'emtza Keriat Shema v'rechaseh kavachom l'chvod shemayim. Because if we're worried about violating the honor and the decency of a human being and allowing you to greet during Keriat Shema, even to speak, then how much more so if the honor and the decency of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is being violated, that we're allowed to speak and we should speak. Ein roy less of tzedakah be'emtza birchas Keriat Shema. One shouldn't collect tzedakah in the middle of birchas Keriat Shema. Kedei shul levatal mispalim kavanah. So some shuls have people that go around with the pushka. Shouldn't do so while people are saying birchas Keriat Shema, because this will disturb their concentration. However, if a poor person, a proper poor person, comes, you should give it to him in the middle, again, not to cause disagreement or any insult, chas v'shalom. Many shuls, like our shul, we do not allow anyone to collect during davening. That's a whole other question for other shul. Well, every shul has their own customs, but certainly this is one of the reasons why, because we don't want to disturb people while they are davening. So please go out and vote, everyone. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzvah and Yisrael, full of Shalom L'chol P'tzvei Yisrael, and a return of our hostages, L'kfuras Yisrael. Lili Nishmat Sarah and Daniel Shimon Arav Daron V'Shal Shem Kem Davo. Thank you so much for listening today. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you here next time.